On the third day of nationwide protests over rising fuel prices, Garda Síochána have called for the support of the Defence forces to help clear roads and entrances to fuel depots. Defence Minister Helen McEntee said deploying the army in response to escalating demonstrations was not the norm, but was necessary. Protesters have remained defiant. Hauliers, farmers and others are continuing their blockade of critical infrastructure, including ports and oil depots. Convoys of lorries partially shut down motorways in a number of regions, causing tailbacks of up to 10 kilometres. Dublin Airport is advising passengers flying this evening to avoid the M50. With fuel deliveries impacted and many motorists filling up in fear of shortages, petrol station operators are warning that fuel is running low at forecourts or has already run out at some.
Another day of protest brought more unprecedented scenes, including a game of football on what would normally be a busy O'Connell Bridge in the capital, while a slow-moving convoy on the M50 led to long delays and the closure of part of the motorway's northbound carriage. Eyewitnesses told RTE's Liveline men were urinating on the side of the road, with others heading on foot to the airport. In East Cork, protesters continue to blockade the Whitegate oil refinery, with up to 18 vehicles blocking two entrances to the facility.
We're not criminals, and Jim O'Callaghan and Micheál Martin should be ashamed to think that we're the people that paid the bills in the country, keep the country running.
In Foynes, in Limerick, protesters remain in place at the fuel depot. However, earlier agreement was reached with protesters to allow a truck carrying chemicals for the treatment of drinking water to pass the blockade.
Our backs are to the wall and we're being crucified with tax. And that's what the Taoiseach of the country is going doing, bringing out the Defence forces to get rid of hard-working people.
While in Galway, protesters continue to block access to the fuel depot in the harbour.
At the minute now, with the price of diesel hitting for 170 a litre, we can't afford to stay going.
These are no longer protests, they are blockades. These blockades are putting at risk supplies of food, fuel, clean water and animal feed.
However, protesters say they have no intention of standing down.
This can be all called off within definitely an hour. It's up to the Taoiseach and it's up to the Taoiseach. So it's in their hands.
Earlier, the government confirmed the Defence forces will be deployed to remove vehicles blocking any critical infrastructure.
Those blockading vital ports and indeed Whitegate should pull back, stop the blockade and cease it, and use channels that are available in any normal parliamentary democracy.
Why on earth is the government escalating this further? That's not called for. What's called for now is respect, engagement and acknowledgement.
Amid the rhetoric, the practical implications of the protests are taking hold, with long queues developing at some service stations in the south and west of the country, as reports grow of forecourts in the region running dry. With the war of words on all sides ramping up, de-escalation seems a distant prospect. Angus Cox, RTE News.
Well, our reporters and correspondents have been monitoring the situation right around the country today. Let's go first to our Midwest correspondent, Petula Martin, who's in Limerick. Petula, you're at the fuel depot in Foynes. What's been the situation there? I understand some trucks are getting past that blockade today.
Yes, that's right. The protesters here in Foynes have facilitated trucks carrying chemicals for the treatment of drinking water to pass the blockade. And throughout the day, we've seen chemi-flock trucks coming in and out of the depot, collecting supplies for Uisce Éireann for the treatment of water. Foynes isn't just a fuel depot, it also stores and distributes chemicals for that very purpose. Now, when this protest started a number of days ago, Vivian, there were maybe 5 or 6 tractors blocking the entrance to the fuel depot here in Foynes. That's escalated considerably to maybe 50 or 60 trucks and tractors and vans and cars all have arrived. And I think that seems to be due to the government's announcement this morning that the Defence forces might be deployed here to remove vehicles. And you could see in Angus's report there that people the emotions are running high because they cannot believe that the government would send the army in to remove their vehicles during a peaceful protest. And I think that may have encouraged others to join the protest here today. Now, earlier we visited service stations in Foynes and we spoke to the owners of the Circle K, the Reedy family, and they say that they, in the coming hours, are going to run out of fuel if they haven't already. They were due to get a delivery yesterday evening. A truck carrying 36,000 litres of fuel was due to leave Whitegate in Cork, but it got caught up in the blockade. And there are reports of service stations throughout Limerick and County Clare where service stations have simply run out of fuel, and others that are rationing fuel as well. But the protesters here in County Limerick, they say they're not for turning, they're not for moving, they're going to stay in place until the government meets their demands.
Well, Jenny O'Sullivan is at the Whitegate refinery in Cork. Jenny, what's the latest from there this evening?
Well, it's almost 10 hours now since the Justice Minister, Jim O'Callaghan, said he was sending in the army, and he asked fuel protesters here to lift their blockade. But as you can see, they remain here and they're defiant. One symbol of that defiance, I think, is the tippers in the trucks which have been raised, making it very difficult, if virtually impossible, to move the trucks without a lot of trouble. Asked what would make them remove their protest and blockade here, they're saying to me that if the government was prepared to sit down with the 4 people nominated by the protest groups around the country and talk, they would lift this blockade straight away. But that's unlikely in the short term. What's more likely is that the army may arrive. If they do arrive, what do protesters plan to do? They say there will be no aggression, no violence. They'll cross their arms and stand back and let the army do what they have to do. But if there's any sign of them climbing into the cabs to tow away their trucks and their vehicles, the protesters will be climbing in there first, and they will be on the move. They'll be on the move at 5 kilometres an hour. They'll be reinstating their slow rolling protests, which in its own way can cause even greater chaos. Meanwhile, we're hearing that there are 200 trucks blocked from entering and leaving the port of Cork. So a lot of disruption tonight.
Teresa Mannion is standing by at Galway Port. Teresa, what's been happening there throughout the day?
Well, Vivian, the blockade is continuing this evening at Galway Harbour and protesters remain defiant. The mood has lifted slightly this evening. There's a bit of banter, the fires are lighting and they've been playing some music. But pent-up anger and frustration filled out earlier in the day. It flowed over when local TDs arrived to engage with protesters, and there were a lot of angry words and cross exchanges. But maybe the direct intervention of government party TDs like John Connolly, Fianna Fáil's Galway West TD, and Pete Roche, Fine Gael's Galway East TD, might have eased, created some wriggle room on the ground to maybe progress towards negotiations at national level. Now, there's no indication yet whether the Army or the Garda are coming in to remove the tractors and trailers. We don't know yet what is happening there. And questions are being asked about the scale of such an operation, how it would actually be executed in reality to remove all these heavy trucks and tractors. But it remains to be seen. Garda, meanwhile, are keeping a close monitoring of the situation round the clock. But this evening, Vivian, one thing's for certain, the blockage of depots across the west of Ireland and across the country is now taking effect. We've heard places like Achill in County Mayo have absolutely no petrol or diesel available. And here in Galway, places like Salthill and Athenry and Turlockmore and Cosla in Connemara, they're all running dangerously low in supplies, and some indeed may have already dried up at this stage. So the situation here remains calm but volatile, and we will be watching and waiting for any escalation in developments.
All right, let's move to the capital now. Laura Fletcher is on O'Connell Street. Laura, what's been happening in there today?
Well, Vivian, if there's been no let-up around the country, there has been no let-up in the capital either. In the last few hours, a few more trucks and tractors arrived to the blockade all along O'Connell Street. It's hard to imagine they could fit any more in, but they have. And the impact is being felt not just in the city centre, but on the surrounding roads. Now, as to the impact in the city centre, as well as this blockade, there have been road closures, so it's extending out to the area around. So Westmoreland Street, the quays north and south, and of course O'Connell Bridge itself, where you saw a few kids kicking a ball around earlier. But of course, in terms of those getting around the city, the Green Line, Lewis, is still suspended between St Stephen's Green and Dominic due to this blockade on O'Connell Street, and Dublin bus services have also been severely impacted. Pretty much every city service has been affected. Those new terminuses that were put in place yesterday to keep buses out of the city centre are remaining in operation. So over the last few days we've been hearing from businesses and from commuters as to how they've been affected, but there's another cohort of people who've been impacted too. So for new and expected parents, the Rotunda Hospital is just around the corner behind me there, and earlier I caught up with one man whose partner was in labour as we spoke to him, and he told me how he'd been managing to get around the disruption.
She started going into contractions like 5 minutes apart, and we saw everything on the news. We had to just come in at 7:30 last night, and they actually possibly could have sent us home, but just factoring in that we had to be an hour there and possibly an hour and a half back in, we've just been in for like 24 hours.
I think most women are factoring it in now. The women that I would be particularly concerned about are those women who've had babies before, who perhaps go into labour and labour very quickly and don't give enough time. Now, thankfully, nobody has delivered outside of the hospital.
So as for those travelling in and out of the city, convoys of protesters have also been disrupting traffic on routes into and out of the city. At one point, all lanes were closed at junction 5 of the M50. That's no longer the case, but there's really long delays, and there's been traffic tailbacks extending onto the N7 westbound from the M50, and then there's also the M1 around junction 4 near Swords and Dublin Airport. That was at a standstill for a time too, both north and south. Now, Dublin Airport, as you mentioned earlier, is advising passengers to avoid the M50 to allow for a lot more time, just due to those delays and disruption being caused by the protests. Vivian.
All right. Laura, Teresa, Jenny and Petula, thank you.
Well, as we heard earlier, the Taoiseach has urged demonstrators to end the blockades. As the Defence Forces were called in, Micheál Martin said the government had to act after reports that oil depots were blocked. Today also saw a meeting of the National Emergency Coordination Group to assess the impact of those blockades. Well, our political coverage editor Joe McGreelig joins me now. And Joe, the help of the Defence Forces has been called upon, but these protests continue. What's the government's thinking on how to deal with this ongoing situation now?
Well, there's a number of messages coming from government, Tommy, and you alluded to them there. I mean, the Taoiseach, the Taoiseach, all of the government ministers are calling for an end to these protests and an end to these blockades, which at this stage are causing such damage right down to individuals who are, as we speak, queuing to try and get fuel in fuel stations that may or may not have it, and of course affecting businesses who have vehicles and trying to get fuel for their vehicles on the road as well. It was discussed, as you said there, at the National Emergency Coordination Group earlier today. That's a group that's normally only ever convened, Tommy, in times of extreme weather events or during the COVID emergency. But it was convened today to discuss the ongoing situation that has come about as a result of the protests. The government, of course, are also saying that the army will be called in. They'll be called in by the Garda to assist them to remove the blockades if the blockades do not go. The other message is that any talks that take place will not be taking place with the protesters out on the streets of the capital or around the country at the moment. They will take place with the established representative bodies, and that's something that the Taoiseach was saying yesterday, and he's repeated it again today. And indeed, in that regard, there's a number of meetings planned tomorrow with ministers and some of those bodies. The Road Haulage Association, the Irish Farmers Association and the ICMSA will all be meeting with ministers tomorrow, and the agenda is to discuss the fuel crisis. I think overall there is an openness within government to consider finding other ways forward, but it most definitely is a priority to get this critical infrastructure, the oil depots, the oil refinery open as a priority.
All right, Joe McGraillig at Leinster House, thank you.
New figures from the Central Statistics Office show home heating oil prices rocketed to a 30-year high last month. It said the fuel rose by 67% between February and March, its biggest month-on-month increase since records began.
This is Naas in County Kildare. Like any other town, its businesses are affected by rising prices.
The price of coffee's gone mad. We give everyone coffee. Even the price of electricity, everything's just gone. Wages, mad, yeah. Everything's gone through the roof, and unfortunately the employer's taking the hit on everything, you know.
Generally what we're seeing is increased labour costs, increased energy costs and increased insurance costs, so everything is going up.
The experience of Naas is the same as the national picture. Soaring energy prices have pushed the rate of inflation to 3.6% in March, a big increase from the rate in February of 2.7%. Of course, it's not only home heating oil. Petrol is up an average of almost 8% and diesel up an average of 18%.
You know, when you go for your food shopping or you go for some to eat or you fill your car with petrol, everything's increasing, so and it just makes life that much harder.
Irish life, health, gone up by a big amount, pension not keeping pace at all.
I'm a pensioner and I find the cost of living is absolutely gone through the roof.
Rising prices hurt the least well off the most. The 700,000 homes with heating oil are being hit hard as they've been directly affected by rising international costs. But the problem with increasing prices is that once they start, they become very difficult to control. David Murphy, RTE News.